My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and we don't have an episode to talk about today, do we?
No, it's been bloody hot sitting under the aircon.
Yeah,
what are we going to do?
We figured we needed to talk to somewhere a little bit cooler, so we decided to just randomly pick the other side of the world and just find someone at random, and look who we bumped into.
Hello, Yan.
Hey, guys.
Ah!
This is exciting. How are we going?
Yeah, it's bloody cold out here.
Yeah, it's a contrast with our bloody hot over here, so it's been a bit ridiculous today. So,
so it's cold over there at the moment. What have you been up to over the festive season, as we like to call it?
Oh, okay. So probably lots of it. Lots of eating, lots of feeling shame, and then the new year pops in, and I go, right, I'm going to start running again, and it almost killed me on the first day.
This is why I'm so anti-running.
It is.
Yeah.
This is why I was a goalkeeper when I played soccer. I just was an 18-yard box, there and back.
I did half an hour of chair yoga today, and that was enough. I have to do it for homework, so I'm learning how to become a meditation teacher. I know, insane. I'm like, sit down, fuckers, let's meditate. And so I have to learn chair yoga, which is quite fun. And about halfway into that, I'm like, it's a bit too hot for this shit.
Back under the air.
Yeah.
Was it called hot yoga?
Yeah, it's like Bikram.
Bikram chair yoga.
Yoga.
Bikram
No,
suddenly.
Yeah, that's probably why I started playing. When I started playing, I played in defence because you didn't have to run all the way up the pitch. But now, as I get older, I'm starting to move backwards. And I would probably be a goalkeeper, and I was eventually I'd be comfortable anywhere on the substitutes bench.
No, when I became a goalkeeper because my father said to me when I was learning and just starting, and he goes, "Whatever you do, if they ask you what to play, don't say goalkeeper."
What?
So I did.
Why didn't you double you goalkeeper?
So I did. He's like it's a really hard position, which yes it is. But I automatically said goalie, and there's great footage of me in under sevens skipping around the field on me playing in outfield. It's a good thing I went into goals because I developed a kind of really nasty cutting edge, and I would take out attackers and my own defenders if they got in the way. So I call for the ball in the 18-yard box. It's mine. That's the rule. So defender will concur. Keeper wants
you only have to look after a very small area of the pitch. That's your domain. You
exactly,
look after it.
It's mine. Outside of that, do what you want. In here, me.
That's why you said we'll never play air hockey together.
Yeah, that's why. So
it's too crazy.
It's a bit nutty.
Yeah.
So it must be interesting for you to have this sudden re-emergence on social media with regards to the other side of the world. Is it a bit weird to suddenly have all these Australians sort of adding you on Twitter?
It was a bit strange initially because I thought I'd done something wrong because all of a sudden I got a spike in attention on because after last week the last one finished because we usually get some mentions on Twitter on transmission night, and then it sort of like peters off towards the end, and then we finished over in the UK and didn't know it. I thought, that's the end of that, and I've started, social media is not really me. I just looking in and out, and then all of a sudden it was. I think you broadcast on a Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tuesday. All of a sudden on a Wednesday morning, I'd have last messages on my phone, and the first time it happened, I thought I'd done something wrong. I thought
you're like, which bastards released my sex tape?
I know exactly. I thought, what have I done? And I looked on it and went, oh, Australia? I didn't because they hadn't told us. I mean, Love Productions, who produced the program, hadn't told us, and why would they? Because it's like you got the entire world that's syndicated to. So yeah, it was quite. But it's nice looking forward to your the banter. Because then there's because they're watching the first, you're all watching the first episode. It's like, blah, blah, blah. And so people start to panic. They attach themselves to me and to Liam and to Julie and going, they're doing well and the other. And then you guys all got scared on Caramel Week.
Yes.
Me too.
I was actually watching that today. Every watch Caramel Week. That was a bit. I loved the fact though that you, unlike everyone else who had the thermometer in there measuring the caramel, you're like, no, just watching.
I'm a scientist.
I know, right? Do you know what? The entire fucking nation lost their shit when I didn't use a thermometer. Nor did Liam. No, but can I also say, I still don't make caramel. I make perfect caramel. I still don't make caramel with a thermometer because I can see the sugar melt. I use my eye.
And I don't think whenever they've done caramel on the Australian one, I don't think they use thermometers there either. It's just do it.
No. Do you know what? I called on, like some of the more vitriolic ones. They go, oh, what the fuck, Ian? What do you think you're doing? You're a scientist. Why?
With your scientific method.
Yeah, I said, do you know how to make caramel? They said, oh, well, no, it looks really hard. I know caramel, thank you very much. And I said, and you know what, right? They all lost their shit on the signature. And then on the, nobody said anything. On the showstopper, I did 5 fucking caramels.
Yeah.
All perfectly, no thermometer. Nobody said shit.
Did anyone say anything?
They were used to it by that point. they were just
Oh, that's our lovely dog Leo in the background just saying hello.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know where our cat's gone. Probably oh, she's looking herself. Okay,
this is a very animal-friendly podcast, so people know this. So.
That did make me laugh, though, because the moment I asked anybody, because I got text messages from my friends going, what do you think? What did you any of you like caramel? And it was like literally, it was the equivalent of a bush just rolling in the dust out. It's like no one. Okay, no, I've been. Yeah, so.
As a viewer, you start to like question yourself when you catch yourself getting like so worked up about something, such as, someone not using a thermometer, or, someone who might drop a bake, or why are you doing that with meringue? Why do they choose meringue in the heat? Like, what is going on here? It's a bit of how can I put it? It's a bit absurdist when you start to look at yourself objectively in those situations.
And it's a really interesting thing from an Australian point of view, because the last series of Australian Bake Off was actually described by the company as the nicest show on television, to give you an idea, because the Australian series had this really strong camaraderie on screen where people would be like 30 seconds from the end of their bake and everyone was running the benches and helping everyone else finish their bakes and stuff like that. And it's one of the things we actually loved about your series. You seem to have the same thing in the tent there in the UK.
Do you know what? The first day we were all so nervous. So like it seemed like a competition. But thing is, we all met the day before, so we started to get to know each other. And what it is, as we progress, and it's sort of like survivor mentality. Yeah, us against them. So it's not really a competition. To me, it was never really a competition per se, because although we called ourselves, we called ourselves bakers. We called ourselves, we weren't allowed to call it a show. We had to call it a competition, a baking competition. But
you're not, baking for entertainment. You're baking.
Ignore the cameras. Ignore the cameras. But if you don't call for a camera when you're taking a bake out of the oven, look out.
Yeah, I know, right? It's oh my god. But we got that, to the point where the first one I did turn on the oven. I switched it. That's what I can say.
Yeah, you did. There were other people that didn't. You did.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that so I knew the moment I threw that in the bin that I had to. You notice how close they got. Yeah. I basically hung over the bin and said, "Are you ready?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm rolling." I went.
But it's not a show, it's a competition.
Are you ready to get my disappointment closed up? Yep, go.
Yeah, go. Did you see my frustration? Did you see, I said for crying out loud, but actually I want to say something much more stronger.
If this is just
doing the bake. I'm gonna bring my brother into this, because he's the one that's encouraged me, and if you ever saw a picture of him, he's like, Casey, go away. Go. He is like a bake-off savant. He knows his stuff, and so he said to me, "Look, someone always forgets to switch on their oven. Don't forget to switch on your oven." So the first, unfortunately, I pressed the button because I think I'd already played with the oven beforehand and switched it on. So when I pressed the button, I switched it off.
Of course you did.
Or if I did switch it off, I can't be sure because it may have been switched. But anyway, that's neither there. But what it is that people going, "Oh my God, you forgot to switch on the oven." Blah, blah. Mate, if I'd forgotten to switch on the oven, I wouldn't have had to make that bake again. I would have just let it and switch on the oven. The fact is, I put it in when it was tepid. It was hot when I opened it. I know what an oven baker. I know what an oven feels like when it's hot.
I've done this before. I don't know if you're aware.
Ovens are hot.
That's knowledge there.
So open it up, put it thing in, watched it as it melted in a gloopy mess. So no. And the thing is, when you open the oven door, the light comes on, whether it's on or not. So I didn't know. But anyway, I knew. I mean, as soon as, thankfully, Stacey came around and went, "Yeah, you know, it's not on." So yeah, that's the end of the saga. But do you know what? If I hadn't, people wouldn't have taken a blind bit of notice of me because mine was a boring cake.
Is that Stacey or is that oven door wrecker? Because
yeah.
By the way, that's the first time I've ever seen anybody rip a door off an oven in the bake-off.
I thought. I mean, props to Neff. The oven people, the people that make those ovens. I thought that the oven door does come off because you have to clean it. You can clean the oven door in the sink, and then it flips back in again.
But I did like the way that she sort of used her ingenuity and just leant against it. That was cool.
Oh God,
I would have done that.
But you notice, so even on like when that was quite late. That was what episode 9.
Yeah.
You notice straight away. Stephen said, "Do you want to use my oven?"
My oven, exactly.
Yeah, it was so sweet.
So going back to your original question, yes, each other out because it's not to us. It's not competition. To us, we're helping out our friends. Because I had social media when I was helping. So there was one episode when I was helping both Steve. I helped Stephen and I helped Julia because they're my friends. Yeah, I have. So also on New Year's Eve, I hang out with Julia.
Yeah.
So we went over to her house. She cooked us borscht, and we stayed in our pajamas, eating cheese and drinking beer.
That sounds like a good night.
Exactly. Smelt cheese the next day. But anyway, my point is, we're friends, so why wouldn't I help?
And that's something that, again, I don't know about the Twitter family in the UK and how the Twitter reaction is in the UK, because it's obviously a much larger audience. But in Australia, the Twitter family sort of, wrapped themselves around the bakers, and it was this really insulated, lovely community back and forth. How did you find it overall with a bigger audience?
Everybody had their favourites.
Yeah.
Luckily, their favourites was me, Julia, and Liam. So.
You got the good side.
But I mean, the thing is, and I'm gonna go to a darker side now. Yeah. Is that some of the Twitter followers aren't real Bake Off fans? They're in the moment. They're watching it, and if they dislike someone, they can be really vitriolic, and they don't know.
This is not The Bachelorette, you know.
It's not. And do you know what? Right, they don't see everything that's edited. They don't see everything. They see everything. They don't see how kind and nice and generous every single baker is. Absolutely. And for them to make a snap decision on what someone said or what someone did on the show is just editing. It's just edited that way. So for them to make a snap decision about how they feel about someone, I'm sorry, if someone does that, then they shouldn't be in charge of anything. You shouldn't make a snap decision about someone you've just met on television.
No, not at all. You've got to sort of engage in a positive way and see what comes out of the positivity.
Yeah. Actually, if you don't like someone, then, and again, this didn't happen to me in any way often, so which is nice because I had a very nice crowd on Twitter. Yeah. But if you don't like something, then you can voice it. You've got freedom of speech. I understand that, but don't tag the person in.
Yes,
absolutely.
Horrible thing with their face because they can't avoid it. Then they don't go looking for it. A lot of the bakers don't go looking for it. But there's no social media etiquette.
No,
because people are out there to get a rise out of you. But if they start to be abusive, we do. I mean, I have no first-hand experience of this. So but I could see what was happening because I'm also, like I say, with friends. I see them, I talk to them, and I could see for myself what was happening on social media, and it was horrible for some of them.
Yeah.
So I myself, I've never had, and it was very nice. The Twitter followers I had were very, very nice, and even on the people. But bear in mind also the people that you meet out on the street. Twitter followers that do that sort of thing would never say that to your face.
Oh, absolutely not. It's this, this shield of anonymity that people hide behind. And, like, I think in the earlier years of social media, I've said a few crappy things, but there's a point where you realise, no, this is not cool. This is not on. And these are real people doing real things. Thankfully, that was years and years and years ago. And like you said, like, why tag someone in, like, it's okay. We all get frustrated sometimes, like, oh my God, why did that happen? But you don't have to.
You don't
we try not to go looking for it, which but like sometimes it cannot be helped in the sense that because you also want to see the positive side. So initially I was looking because basically you can on Twitter, you can look for your name and then GBBO and you go, right, okay, yeah. And you look because people say positive, and it's nice to encourage them to watch the show and all the rest. But then obviously you go looking, you see the bad stuff. Yeah. And you go, okay, so they don't like me. That's fair enough. That's blah, blah, blah. I did call up a couple of people that would, like I said, it was like caramel. It's like, pull up on it.
Where was your Bake Off nomination form? I didn't see it. Wasn't in the pile.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is until you come fifth, because I came sixth, until you come fifth in the tent, I don't have to listen to you.
That is an absolutely perfect reaction.
So the only people who can lump shit at you at the moment is
unless you come fifth or higher.
Yeah, exactly. Stacey.
And also the thing is, when I came out of that tent, I was proud of the fact that 5 other people, the Liams, the Stacys, Katie, Stephen, and Sophie, came ahead of me. Proud because they're great bakers.
Yes, absolutely.
So innovative and so creative in their own way. I was like proud that I came behind them, because if they were rubbish and I knew it, then I would say.
Then you'd be disappointed.
I don't.
What kind of?
No, they were so. No, but what I'm saying is I can take being not as good as them and I know that in many ways. But they're all again great bakers, but not to mention the fact that they're funny, they're generous, they're kind. And they're a good life, because I would not stay if they weren't.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that so like you are an awesome baker. Like the stuff that you produce, like Chris and I was saying, oh wow, we haven't seen that before. Like the injection in the jelly, like that was just beautiful. I think I saw that on Facebook once, like one of those kind of this is what happens in when arty people can do arty stuff, and then you do it.
God. So I'm going to say also that was quite funny because so I had seen that being done. The first time I ever saw it was on, there's something called the Great British Menu over in the UK.
We get that too.
So Prue was actually a judge on that previously, and we watched because I love watching things like that. And nothing, so I was like, oh wow! I saw it because she piped a using special syringes that you can buy online and stuff. And obviously all the right garb and stuff. And so somebody had picked up on it on Twitter and said, oh, is Jan copying such and such chef? And she tagged in the chef and blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, are you comparing me to a Michelin-starred chef? Because all I had was the syringe that I borrowed from work.
I got a 27.5 kg needle.
But it was like, I thought to myself, and I'm an amateur baker with a syringe and some food dye. You're talking about a Michelin chef that had tons of budget, and I had I think I bought the gelatin from the supermarket because you're supposed to get special gelatin as well. Who had time? I didn't have time to practice it. I thought to myself,
noticed you're in the middle of.
You're trying to compare me to a Michelin star chef, because if you are, thank you, or are you trying to? The Michelin star chef saying, even an amateur baker can do it.
Either way, you're winning.
I had colouring and a syringe, come on. And some gel.
I'm the MacGyver of the kitchen.
Indeed.
Let's sit back and enjoy the show. There are a storm between me and the chef.
And of course, there were lots of different bits and pieces in the tent that we found really funny as well. I loved Basil the vegetarian dragon. Work of pure genius.
Where did you take your muse from for Basil?
It's actually, thing is, as you well know, a lot of all our bakes, we have to give a backstory to them. It's really like to the point where you think, oh my god, what else can I write about it? But it came quite easy, especially when I'm running. It completely clears my mind. Basil is a character I used to tell. She's now 12. My niece Estelle, and she's the reason why I applied in the first place, because she kept saying, "Oh, you're so good." Because they believe, when she's a child, she believes that their auntie is like super human. Yes. And she doesn't believe I'll ever get old. She doesn't believe I'll ever, I'm ever sad and all the rest. I'll protect her. And when she was like 2 or 3, I used to help look after her. And because when I was working a shift, I could go off shift and then look after her. And I used to tell her stories, and that Basil is a story I used to tell her. It was about a dragon that lived in the forest, and he's vegetarian. He doesn't eat, because there's mice, loads of mice he could have, and he doesn't eat the mice. He has this hoard of pumpkins that he nurtures and grows, and he eats, and he makes into soup and all the rest, and pumpkin biscuits, pumpkin pie, pumpkin soup. And what it is, one night he was so tired he fell asleep. That's the telltale. Like I can tell you, heard the story. Are you all comfortable, children? And one night he's so tired he falls asleep, and he didn't secure the pumpkins.
Oh no!
And the mice take all the pumpkins, and he wakes up and he finds them gone, and he starts crying, and his tummy's grumbling because he's so hungry, and it goes on throughout the night, and his tummy rumbling, because he's a dragon, is so loud it keeps the mice awake, and then the mice don't get any sleep, and then what it is they listen to why he's crying, because he's so hungry, and they're just sitting around with these giant fucking pumpkins and I don't say the F word to Stelly, but and what it is to teach children. It was to teach her empathy.
Yep.
Oh.
So the mice then feel bad. They give back the pumpkins, and then Basil makes soup for all the mice, because he doesn't eat. He's at the end of the day he's still a vegetarian. He doesn't eat mice, and he understands why they're hungry. So
what you needed to do there was you needed to give Noel the complete backstory, and just let him go and create a one-man show based on it.
That, and my sister, she crochets quite a bit. So when it ended, when it was the garden party, prior to that, because obviously I'd shot the bread one a few weeks on, I said to my sister, can you, because he remembers, Noel remembers, because at the end of it, he talked about just before I left, he goes, "Oh, you got to take Basil on the road, Jan." And I said to my sister, "Can you crochet me a dragon holding a pumpkin?" And she can freestyle, and if you look on her Instagram, I'll tell you her Instagram a little bit later. She has a crochet. She crocheted the dragon with the pumpkin, and she also crocheted a unicorn that's gluten intolerant, because he mentioned that.
Perfect.
And you also had one of the greatest lines, I think, in the history of British Bake Off. You know where I'm going to go with this. Go on. Line, it sums up years of innuendo in the Great British Bake Off tent. If you're going to serve cake, serve it phallic.
Oh God, I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah.
I think you'll see a panic.
What, you worried about someone overdubbed you and did an impression of you over the thing, and just make it say phallic. It looks like
no, it's just it's because what it was is that because it was the challenge was staged so that people took turns, not staged, but you know what I mean.
It's staggered.
That's what I'm looking for. Julie had already finished hers, so she was waiting for me to finish because we're friends. She wanted to come over and give me a hug, and also could get a cuddle because she was worried about hers. And what it was of me, like I don't have spatial awareness in that sense. I looked at the plate, went right, I can do all 6 back sides, and I didn't look at anybody else's because you're not allowed to cheat. didn't look at anybody else's self-serving theirs, didn't see that it'd gone the skew with angle, started the first one, went along to I went, oh shit. If you know fondant puddings at all, once you've laid, you cannot move it, because I tried to move one.
Once it's there, it's going to burst.
Yeah, exactly. Especially mine, because apparently it was underdone, my one. But anyway, leave it there for a few minutes.
Start as you mean to go on, children. Start as you mean to go on.
Yeah. So I just had to carry on, and then when I finished it, because I was so constant in the moment, hadn't realised what it looked like until Sandy looked at it. There was a slight pause. She looked at me, and I looked at her and went, "Oh my god!"
Penny
I just saw when she served it to Paul erect.
Exactly, as you should.
And I look his back, his shoulders just go, and that's when Julia took that moment to come and give me a hug and just say,
well,
because
she knows, having served up Clash a penisy snail.
So how the hell did the tent keep it together as much as they did? I'm assuming editing was involved in that.
Yeah, but I was in the front row for that. I stood there going, "That's a cock and two balls."
Yep.
It was
at home watching it. We're watching it, and you watch the start, and you see the initial design, and you go, "That could be a bit," and you see a start, and you're looking at it going, "Yep."
And then as she rolls the bread dough, and it kind of gets this little lip happening.
And it's getting more and more obvious as it goes on, and everyone's like, surely at some point someone's going to notice this.
And it's not circumcised.
Surely someone's going to spot it, because last season Andrew had his jousting night where he made the jousting pole and that was the instant I tweeted out instantly when I saw that. I feel like we've done something similar to this before, and I tweeted the picture of the jousting night, which was just Is that a joust, or are you just pleased to see me? He was really pleased to be at the contest. He was looking at me going, "I like you. Let's win."
Oh God. It was during the judging, because obviously the judges have to lift up the bakes and all the rest. It was the held it. It was because bless her, Prue did not I don't think she realised. And for me,
watching Hollywood.
Hey, not stating too much too fine upon it. It's been a while for me, but I know what a cock and two balls.
But the highlight for me of that whole thing was just watching Hollywood and watching Paul look at it, and he's trying so hard to not laugh.
Thing is, Bread Week was very innuendo. Put it down.
Always.
So even the cob loaf. He was like.
But there's always at least one. There's been a couple on the last series of Bake Off. There was one in the last series of Australian Bake Off we just referred to as Smut Week. It wasn't even like innuendo week. It was just smut. We're not as prudish as some other countries, so therefore Australia and Great Britain, I think we like our innuendos. I love that all the Carry On movies. Well, there's lots of other. The thing is that sort of humour doesn't translate into a lot of other languages. It's just funny. People just need to lighten up and just go. It's just funny, and the thing is, you'll remember Julia forevermore for that snail bread, and she was Star Baker that week. Exactly. So she clearly won them over with the skill and ability that she demonstrated in that erection. So speaking of things that we'll remember people for, how does it feel to know that you've had the most famous scooter accident in recent memory? Do you know what? I can't take that scooter out because I'll get recognised, and I don't. But I need to scoot without people jumping out in front of me going, "That's Jan from Bake Off." I loved the moment where Noel said motorised, and you went, "No, children's." It's not a child scooter; it's an adult scooter. I know what sort of scooter it is, but it just looks so funny. Whereas everyone's expecting it to be a Vespa or no, scooter. It's a child scooter. Oh my God, that's true. I've got to admit, it was. It might have been alcohol induced. No, because ordinarily I would never ride it in wet weather, because I know I've fallen off it a couple of times when I was first got it, because because it gets slippery. Yeah,
And I felt
you're on television, so you've got to protect the moneymaker.
yeah.
Hands. She's making.
between episodes, and it was just like obviously I go to work and stuff, and I go to work because I don't walk anywhere where I don't have to.
Yeah,
because it's a lot. As I get old, I don't know if you'll notice, because as you get older, time compresses.
Yes.
Time when you're a child, it's forever for a week. But to me, if I walk, it takes forever to go anywhere. So if I'm on a scooter, it just closes.
That makes sense.
It's like creating a little wormhole between your home and work.
That's the same thing. It's like it feels like it takes forever, but actually, it seems when you're walking, it takes a long time. If I'm scooting, it just cuts my time by half. So even 15 minutes is precious now. So
speaking of work, we know he's a nice guy beneath the exterior, but does working in the NHS doing molecular biology, does that prepare you for a Hollywood glare over your shoulder?
No.
We said that there's Paul has a certain look that he gives bakers, and it's when he asks you a question and then just looks at you. And it's not so much a question, like, first of all, he knows the answer. And secondly, he's not trying to tell you what to do or what not to do, but by the end of it, it feels like you're questioning your very existence.
It's an existential crisis.
Yeah. I think that's probably where all my time went. I didn't have time because I was standing there going, what did he mean by that?
That was your superpower. Time management.
Am I actually in a baking tank? Is this a competition? What am I doing?
What is life?
And at work, I don't have the managing director standing over me at every point.
But it's really weird because, it's not like you don't question, for example, when he says, just for example, should you be putting that sort of icing on that cake? You don't question the icing on the cake. You're questioning, why did I make the cake? Why is the cake that shape? Is the oven on? Do I own an oven? Is that an oven? I don't know what an oven is. Who am I? What am I doing?
And at the end of it, what the hell? Why the hell did I do this? Why the hell did I agree to this?
Whose bright idea was this to apply? I don't know.
That said, though, it would be kind of fun at work to have the equivalent of Noel and Sandi hanging around, just brightening up your day, taking out the stress from situations.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's me. That's me at work. I'm the comedy element.
The Noel and Sandi thing, though, is interesting for me because one of the things we've said on every season we've done of both Australian and British is that one of the things that makes those shows different from all the other shows on TV is that the hosts they bring in are brilliant at just deflating stressful situations and empathising with the bakers and giving them whatever support they sort of need. And it was something that Mel and Sue used to do brilliantly at. In Australia, Claire and Mel do a brilliant job of the same thing.
Yeah.
Noel and Sandi this year were just
gorgeous and hilarious.
They are, aren't they?
Baking done.
At the beginning, when I heard that Mel and Sue, like the last series, obviously, Mel and Sue weren't following either, and I thought, there's no point then, because I am actually a big Mel and Sue fan. They're like...
Yes.
I used to watch them. They used to do a program called Lunch with Mel and Sue on Channel 4.
I've seen that, yes.
Yeah, and I thought that's an excellent. I would love to do something like. But it's an excellent idea. Because how do you make somebody relax? You put them in an environment where they're preparing food.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they just carry on chatting to them, and make this food, and then they will sit down and eat, because that's how you when usually you're socializing with someone, you have something to eat with them. And it just relaxes them, and they then concentrate on their food, and also and it makes them more chatty and all the rest, and it's like a social thing. So I thought that I'm surprised they don't carry it on, because it's quite a I think loads of people, but to be honest with you, at the time there's loads of students watching it. Yeah, because it was on in the middle of the afternoon, but
it was like Richard Herring and Stuart Lee used to do the same thing.
Exactly.
This morning with Richard on duty. I'll have to show you at some point.
Okay. See, all I remember is coming home from nursing, hard day doing 2 tutes at nursing, to be home in time to watch, what was it? That one with Timmy, the little person, and Passions.
Oh, God. There was a bit more respect for you every time we talked.
I didn't want to watch it. And then another girl came back to my place to do actual uni work, and then she goes, oh my God, it's 3:00, we have to watch Passions. And I'm like, what is Passions? And she put it on, and it was like a drug had just hit the right receptors in the brain. It was just
and then you have forevermore.
Exactly. exactly.
But yeah, so but Mel and Sue obviously had sort of set the groundwork in British Bake Off of what to do, and I absolutely love Noel and Sandi and everything they do. And by the way, as much as I love Stephen Fry, I think she's a better host of QI. But be that as I do, I really do. I love her on QI.
No, but can I just say also, it's like Mel and Sue, Mel and who?
Yeah.
And do you know what? Refresh. Sandi, Mel and Sue were good, but Sandi and Noel, they came in and it was seamless.
They work so beautifully together, and they just seem to. And the other thing that we noticed a lot of, and Mel and Sue, obviously, they genuinely cared and had empathy, and you could see they were sad. But like Sandi got to the point where she was crying when people were going home. And that's genuine affection for people. And that just shows what a great person she is.
Mm.
Yeah, it was quite, because I did see her recently, and I said to her, are you planning on crying for the next series? And she said, I may do. I said, are we going to have to get them to install an IV drip?
Keep her hydrated.
Because they take it in turns. They can't, it's too traumatic. And I mean, if you notice, she got the privilege of saying the Star Baker for the week that I went. And I said to her, you didn't cry on my week. She said, I didn't have to say. And I said, but you still were sad, right? And she went, yeah, sobbed. Yeah. But what it is, if you notice, it's edited, so you do see it. And no, I mean, he when I gave him a hug, he said, I'm sorry. And I said, why are you sorry? I said, somebody, we might as well, because they say it because they have to announce it, and they take it personally. And they genuinely, they are, the best for me, because I've not had any other hosts.
Yeah.
But they were generally the best hosts I could have hoped for, because they were so supportive and so funny.
Yeah.
And Noel's a little bit out there, but he hit my, like humour.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, like, especially with gluten, he's so quick fired, gluten tolerant unicorn. I thought, wow, that's amazing. That would make an amazing story. Because he's so out there, wacky, but I get it. I get his sense of humour.
It was about week 2 or week 3 that Noel started, when they did the intros, and started to be more Noel. And you're like, yep, they've let them off the leash. Like week 1 and 2, they were very, very down the line. By week 3, Noel's starting to do his absurdist stuff, and you're like, thank you. This is what we want.
Yes.
He's they are, and Sandi as well. She's like there was some really, because it's a closed set and nobody's allowed on it. So they just if the papers can't get anything, and they couldn't, they just made things up.
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
So
that's what they do. It's their job. Insiders and fellow diners.
Right, and saying Sandi doesn't mix with the bakers, and she just sits and I'm reading that and thinking, well, you're a pile of shit, aren't you? Like whatever paper I read it in, because she was in the 10 off camera. She didn't have to be there. She didn't have to. They do other projects while they're also doing Bake Off. Come in, helps us. Are you okay? When it was cold, she goes, "Oh, are you warm enough? Do you want, do you want a hot water bottle or anything?" Because we're supposed to wear, and making us cups of tea.
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome! Can we get Sandi around just to our place just to
make us
just to hang?
You should also say you could get Sandi to interview her, because she is very.
We'd love to be able to talk to her.
Very quick-witted as well. So I've got Sandi and obviously Noel as well. But I don't remember Noel making me a cup of tea.
But so you talked about it was cold. How quickly did the weather change? Because like that Italian week, oh my God, like we were melting watching it, because it was actually hot here too. But
you know what? Like the stupid thing people say was going, wasn't it air conditioner? No, it's a fucking tent in the middle of a field. Oh, didn't you have any little fans? Because what it is that that you had if you had any fans in there, it would cause noise.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So, like to pick up everything. So you couldn't have big fans. So we had little tiny, which is why, one of them was Katie cut her finger because her hand slipped in, because it was one of those little fans.
Oh no!
Oh, that was the way she could wear the. We were talking about the occupational health and safety.
That's right.
Was the one that cut herself.
Yeah. You got to see the irony in that, don't you? No. So it was. They can't even have because again, this isn't anything you guys wouldn't know, because it's been out in the press. Is that they don't even have dishwashers. They have people washing the dishes because it's too noisy, and also it's in the middle of a field. Can't say that enough. You can't plumb in a dishwasher in the middle of
Just going to the what do you have, the Heritage Council?
Yes.
Heritage.
Yeah.
We'd like to dig up your lawn and just put this in so we can.
We just want to plumb.
We just want to
We
plumb.
want to plumb.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So the Australian one, at least, they've got a shed.
Trust, yeah. It's a beautiful house, and when it's not being used for filming, it's quite famous for snowdrops apparently.
Well, there's
So
some
it'll be visit without pressure.
there were some really funny shots last series of while all the bakers are doing their bits to camera of people just wandering across the field behind them, which were beautifully done. So that we absolutely love those. Now, I don't know. Obviously, you're very aware of the British Bake Off. Have you seen any of the Australian series at all?
I have, yes. In preparation. So I want to know who Olivia was, just to make sure. Yeah.
The answer is she's awesome.
She is. Oh my god.
They're all brilliantly.
Her and Stacey just need to bake together because it would be fabulous.
Because Stacey did a lot of the stuff that Liv did in terms of the plastic animals and plastic trees and the creative.
It's like their sister, long lost sisters. Can I also say, if you want, I'll talk to Stacey and maybe we can get her to come on the show as well. For you.
That could be good fun. But you'd be aware then of they seem to, from our perspective, the British producers this year seem to look at the Australian series last series and go, let's take a lot of those bakes. Yeah. Because they borrowed a hell of a lot, including
the
sfogliatelli, which I found really interesting because they asked Paul, why didn't you set this? It's a very technical bake. Why didn't you set it as the technical? And he goes, because you can't set that as a technical. It's too difficult. Flash back to the Australian series.
It was technical, right?
It was the grand final technical.
Yeah.
No, but can I just... Oh, it wasn't. He didn't mean it that way. It wasn't too difficult. It's that it would take too long.
That's what he's talking about with timing.
Yeah.
It was the grand final technical.
I thought it was him just revving up for a bit of fuck you Aussies, we can do better. And we need to bake off ashes.
We do, because we were talking the week of Italian week, the week you went home, we were talking to Monica, who was in the Australian grand final. And she said that after that bake, she's like, I never want to deal with that again. I don't want to see it again because they did use the pure fat, obviously, in the morning. So she goes, first thing in the morning, and there I am with the hog fat. And she's like, the smell was, I never want to go through that again as long as I live.
It was disgusting.
Yeah. She's Italian and a proper Italian baker. And she's like, never again.
She knows where to go and buy it.
But can I say, I've never ever... Stephen's ones were... He deserved that Star Baker for that week. Yeah. Oh, Stephen's one... If you overlook the taste, you can start to taste the lard. His ones were so delicious. That's the most delicious lard I've ever eaten.
There you go. There's a catch line. He needs that on business cards. The most delicious lard.
It was his was amazing, but it's because he smothered so much lard on his. But it was delicious. Don't get me wrong. He thoroughly deserved Star Baker, and his cannolis also. Delicious.
We were really intrigued though by the fact that it was like there were a few different times where they picked bakes that the Australian guys had done, and they were like, "This is the first time we've ever done this." And we're going, "No, it was done in Australia.
We don't count. We're just a colony."
It's the same company, isn't it? So it's not known that they would take it. But like I said, if they took it for the technical, can you imagine doing the technical for 4 hours? Because I think our technicals don't last more than 2. Yeah,
but that was the grand final, and you obviously would have seen it. I mean, they started the grand final with a souffle. So you started with the staggered souffle in Australia, then you went to the sfogliatelli, and then you had that 3-tiered cake.
Yeah. So, no, but I don't know. That's the same thing. I've never heard of it. But when I went to practice it, the first one I found, because I had to go on YouTube to see how it was made. Was for SBS Food channel,
which is
the does Food Safari on your shows,
which is a great channel to have out here too because it's a free to
yeah. And I saw an Italian guy, basically just sit there and churn this really thin pastry, and I thought I can't do that.
But why would I want to do that? There's so many more Italian things I could have done.
No, but there was also a common thread then, because then once I discovered how you guys sfogliatelli was made. Because initially I was hand rolling out the cannolis.
Yeah.
I went the pasta maker for both of them. So I just have to invest in it. I just have to go and find it.
Invest in a pasta maker for the end of time.
I have to say, your grabbing of the cling film as a rolling pin was pure genius. That's really ingenuity.
What was funny was the production people were watching me. They filmed me doing it. And then she took it away.
Yeah, but it's called this is great. This is great television. Film it, and confiscate. So now
I now cling film all the time because what it is, cling film roll all the time because it doesn't stick to anything except to itself. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily talking about what your best bake was, but was there a bake in the tent that you were just particularly happy with? Doesn't have to be your best one, but was there one where you sat back and even if it went midfield, you went, yeah, that was a really good one. I like that one.
No, I really enjoyed the caramel showstopper because I thought at that point I was on my way out, and I thought, well, let's just basically put all the caramels in all the world on one cake,
which I loved. I
just thought to myself, I'm just going to go for it and just basically put all the caramels that was ever invented, and I'll put it on one cake, and then they can deal with that.
The biggest Australian controversy out of that was, and you saw it on Twitter, was all the Australians complaining about, why are we calling them millionaire shortbread? It's caramel slice, and don't you forget it. I had literally, that week was when I actually then made, it's on our Instagram, because we watched it, and I went, okay, so I made caramel slice and put it up on our Instagram.
And I wasn't sure if he's going to make it as good as my mum, because my mum makes the best caramel slice. And he did it pretty bloody well, almost as perfect as my mum.
That's high praise.
High praise.
I'll take that high praise. Now, the other question.
I'll be the judge of that. I think I need a trip over to Sydney. Are you guys in Sydney?
Yes, we are.
I think I have to come over.
I judge myself. You come over, he'll bake caramel slice, my mum will bake caramel slice, and we'll have a caramel slice off.
You just want more caramel slice. That's all you're
I do.
For Yan.
Yeah, for Yan, it's sacrifice.
It's objectivity. We need a scientific approach to this.
And along the lines of Saliatelli, is there anything that you've never done before that you've made since? Then is there anything that you've never done before and you'll never go near again?
I'd like to say spaghetti, but I'll never make cannoli again because I don't like. There's something about deep frying. I don't know how big your houses are in Australia, but ours is tiny. I don't have an extractor fan, and it was in the height of summer, and my was like I had to go out in the garden because the wife wouldn't allow any more frying or lard anywhere.
And just asked to borrow their fryers.
They just duck into the local fish and chip shop. Can we just for 5 minutes just duck that?
Yeah, but I don't have, again, at my mum's, she's got a deep fat fryer, but I don't have things like that in our kitchen because I don't tend to deep fry anything. I grill or roast or you know, like an oven. But, so I don't like frying stuff. So I haven't done cannoli again, although my brother says that he would like to taste them because the flavors were okay. It was just, you know, it was delivered sloppily. I'd like to say sfogliatelli, but I would probably do that, but not sweet. I would do it savoury. I want to make a samosa out of it because it would look spectacular samosa.
Okay, we'll trade. I'll make caramel slice. You make that.
And then I will try.
And probably not with lard either. I wouldn't make it with lard. I would make it with butter.
Definitely, we'll swap then.
I will make cocktails.
You can make the cocktails and stand there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I literally fill our kitchen with every appliance known to man.
Oh my God. So we have this annual event called Meet-a-Palooza with our friends, which is just a festival. All year they plan what kind of dish they're going to do, and it's going to be meat-based. So this year's, what's it called? Theme was game on. So it had to be game meat. So Chris is like, I'm going to make duck sausage rolls. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That sounds good. He goes, I need a mincer. Don't already have one, so off he goes, gets a mincer for his KitchenAid, and yeah, that were really good too, the duck sausage rolls. Well done, my love. I'll make those again.
I'll put the recipe up at some point.
Indeed.
Yeah, that sounds spectacular actually. Duck sausage roll.
They're all over the social media, so they're all over Insta and all over the Twitter, so we'll get those out again, and I will actually write a recipe at some point. I'm a bit like Antonio from Great Australian Bake Off Australia, who couldn't be bothered writing his recipes down. Hey Antonio, how you going? I hope you're listening, man. This has been absolutely spectacular to get to talk to you tonight.
I know.
A joy. And
Lovely talking to you too. Thank you so much.
Is there anything you want to plug before you go, or
free opportunity.
Oh no, God no! Oh, I'm on this podcast just to let you know. No, it's
So she's backward plugging the podcast at the end of the podcast. This will go beautifully. I love
back announcing.
Back announcing.
You might want to listen to it. But what it is, it would be lovely if I will see if Stacey would like to come on, because I know that she's popular in Australia, and it was quite nice, a bit of a boost for her.
Yeah,
exactly. So
to know that we've got a good fan base over there.
Exactly.
But it isn't
Australia. We'll take care of.
We'll just take them all. Take everyone. We'll just take everyone.
I also heard, because I visited the offices over Christmas just to wish them Merry Christmas, is that you guys are mental for any of their shows, because a guy from the Great Pottery Showdown, which they also make.
Yes.
You just he's I don't even know who does that.
We had the knitting one.
Yeah,
it was the sewing one.
The sewing one. They did Australia, and people recognise them in the street and stuff. So
we bumped into the Great Sewing One by complete accident. It's like, wow, this is. I've never sat there and watched someone with an overlocker before and gone, yes. I need to watch more of an overlocker.
She said, what it is, it's quite twee what they do, but actually everybody's like harking back to the old times when things were a lot more simple. But now we have so talk about it, because like I said, I bake, and I didn't used to do it, and I do it now because I like it because it's quite therapeutic. My sister crochets, and she's addicted to it, and she makes the most spectacular.
Well, there you go. She can get on.
What's your sister's Instagram then? We can plug it over.
Yo Yingers.
There we go. So get on that. And all those people who love the knitting show, get onto that 100%.
Crochet. She makes the most spectacular crochet stuff. And my Instagram is Yanni Bakes, @YanniBakes.
Exactly. So thank you very much, Yan. I'm still Chris.
I'm still Kristie.
And we will catch everybody else a bit later on.
Ciao.